seems to be, a bit of a power shift in the workplace as people, contributors around the world have kind of moved from the quiet quitting post pandemic to what I heard someone recently refer to as job hugging. People, as there's more economic uncertainty, as it's unclear what AI is going to do to the workforce and jobs. And, as a number of companies are, doing waves of layoffs, people have, I don't know, have newfound appreciation for their jobs and are wanting to stay in their jobs. A good friend of mine was told by his employer recently, make yourself indispensable. And one of the ways to make yourself indispensable is just be incredibly valuable to your manager and be someone that they say, man, I love working with this person. Like working with this person is like, boom, hitting the easy button. And that's what we want to do today. I think it has a lot to do with empathy. And Sean, this is something that you are amazing at. We found that these impact players had a lot of upward empathy.
One of the things that I was thinking about as you were talking about this shift on where we are, where people are holding on to their jobs and maybe not so quick to let them go and start like a goat yoga farm or whatever it is that people were experimenting with before, which there was like this proliferation of experimentation. People are sticking to their jobs. And it makes me think what we were talking about maybe just a few years ago is how hard it is to be a manager. It's hard right now to be a manager. For all of those of you that are managers in the chat, do you think it's harder now maybe than ever before to manage? I mean, we're expected to contribute. We're expected to manage remote teams, in-person teams, the combination of all of it, integrate AI. It's a wild ride for managers right now. And so it might be an appropriate time as we think about our contribution to kind of like shine off our, to kind of polish our empathy skills because it is so difficult for managers. And so I don't think that managers have ever been so hungry to have just contributors that are easy to work with, that are a little sensitive to them. And so this concept of upward empathy, what does it mean, Liz? Like, where did it show up in impact players, and how does it, what can we take from people that have this?
Well, this empathy we saw, like, when you look at like multiplier leadership, you see leaders who are empathetic to the plight of the people working for them, trying to contribute their best, trying to step up, trying to play big. But what we found with the impact players was not only sort of a downward empathy, which is how we tend to think of empathy as like maybe helping someone who is struggling, someone who is less fortunate, someone who is trying to like come up in life. What we found is that the impact players had upward empathy, empathy for those who maybe held positions of higher authority or power. And we don't tend to naturally have empathy upwards. And it was very much the way of the impact player it was, gee, I bet my boss has a hard job. I bet it's pretty hard to be a leader. I bet it's hard to manage me. And they're like, I'm a piece of work. Like, I wonder if maybe that job is.
So we hired our oldest son to first do some initial. He's a good researcher. We hired him when we first started working on this book to do some research around a few topics he was passionate about. How do you sponsor somebody to get into a space where they can think monastery, work deeply, focus on something? So he did this work, and then after he did that, we asked him. He's really good at project management and at estimating tasks. So we asked him if he would be our project manager. And so about I know, shudder, about 6 months.
He's online too right now.
He should be online, but he should be in this community. So at some point we were having a call, me and Annie were having a call, and he just said, you are unmanageable. And it was just this moment where I was thinking about, I mean, he was saying it in jest, but also simultaneously so honest. But it is true, like sometimes some people are just really hard to manage, And I was the first time that I thought, like, in his role as the leader of the project, how hard sometimes as a contributor I was making it for him to do any kind of management. And I think that if you can have this thought of even like, man, am I hard to manage? There's something to this.
What's just hard about managing me? And it's the art of perspective taking. We've talked about that a lot. And what's funny about this is I noticed in chat that I failed at some perspective taking because I think it was me who wanted to say, like, hey, what have you been doing this summer? And, you know, for the Southern Hemisphere, it hasn't been summer. It's been winter. And,
Yeah, well,
we've got people here, from Joburg, and we've got, go to well, like, yeah, I think maybe that might be Northern Hemisphere, but, yeah, for some people, they've been in their winter. So that's my fail at, perspective taking, but we find that it's looking upward to say, "What does that job look like?" And I think I could probably, embody this in a comment made in one of the research interviews. It was a woman who I think ran like a risk management function at Target, and she talked about this person who worked for her. His name might have been Evan, who said like kind of. She said he just tracked to what my job was like, and he would say things like, "So, like, what's on your plate? What's important to you? What are the conversations you are having with your boss?"
Mhm.
Like, trying to understand what her world
Yeah.
was like. Like, what are all the planes in her radar so that he could be helpful to her in managing everything that was on her radar. Um, it's really understanding, like, that it's hard to be a leader. And I think that's one of the things that I've learned over the decades I've been doing this work is how hard it is to be a senior leader. That leading is a brave choice to channel our good friend, Brene Brown. That and I think the impact players understand that.
Mm.
Like, what's hard about that, and how can I be of support?
So, Liz, what should people do if they like this clip?
So if you like this clip, you can watch the whole episode here.